So No Chill Gil, aka Gilbert Arenas, had sat down and did a discussion about why do New York fans cheer for opposing opponents? And the conversation kind of stemmed from the Golden State Warriors getting a lot of love at the Barclays Center while they played against the Nets. But he kind of correlated that to the Knicks in his playing days of just playing in that arena and getting a lot of love, or what he perceived to be love. Because me, looking from the outside in, New York City appreciates great basketball, and they show appreciation of it with oohs and ahs. But overwhelmingly cheers, I don't think so. Maybe for great players like Kobe Bryant, or maybe LeBron James in his Cleveland days, because we wanted him to come to New York. But I think a lot of the media members and a lot of the players kind of mistake cheers for appreciation. But anyway, Gilbert Arenas talked about it. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
That's why every single star loves the Garden. They love the Garden because it's one of the only places that a star can come and actually get cheers from the opposing crowd. That's what they don't understand. So they be like, yeah, everybody wants to play in the Garden. Yes, besides the Knicks. Everybody wants to play in the Garden. Like, you don't boo nobody. Kobe comes in there, it's Kobe time. Steph comes.
They're not going to boo Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant's a legend. But notice how Gilbert Arenas had to throw those subtle jabs, because you have to understand, Gilbert Arenas, he's a Valley Cali boy, man. And for some reason, a lot of people, especially in Lakerland, they're upset at the fact that the Knicks haven't had that much success, but yet the franchise is perceived to be bigger than their franchise. Their franchise, for the most part, is considered to be a nice, successful mom and pop franchise. The Knicks are on a different level as far as being an enterprise versus the Lakers. And we all know the NBA has a completely different feeling when the Knicks are on point versus when the Lakers are.
His 15th, you're cheering him.
Yeah.
So as a player, I'm guarding the guy you're cheering for. What the fuck is this? Like, you just put a battery in this dude. The dude just hit 3 threes, and now y'all over here cheering. Of course he's gonna shoot number 3 and 4.
Knicks fans, listen to this man.
They hate the reality, but that's the reality.
That's not the reality. They're appreciating your great play. And Gilbert Arenas is really talking about from his playing days of when the Knicks were really bad, the Isaiah Thomas years. I believe he played in the mid-2000s. Yeah, Gilbert Arenas was cooking back then, but I don't think he had overwhelmingly fans from New York. They just appreciated the way he was playing, but they weren't fans of you like that.
I'm gonna let you get this.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna catch the heat.
Yo, son.
Uh-oh. Here comes the LA boys with more jabs. Yo, son, yo, son. I'm telling you, Laker fans, which most of their fan base is bandwagon fan base. They'll be fans of the Lakers. Then if the Lakers are bad, they're fans of the Warriors, etc., etc. They're bandwagon fans, and a lot of them are upset that the Knicks haven't had success in a lot of years, but yet they have a real loyal fan base. It's almost like being a Knick is almost like an identity, and they're kind of jealous of that because they understand that a lot of the Laker fan base, they were Kobe fans, and if the Lakers didn't perform up to par, they'll be a fan of another team. That fan base, for the most part, understands that.
I played. I know the game plan. The game plan as the visitor. Jump on them early so the crowd, no one cares about the team. We let the crowd do that. Jump on them early. Once the crowd gets them, we're good. This was the fourth quarter rule. As long as we're up by 10 or 15, the crowd is out of it.
Exactly. You're talking about the mid to early 2000s. Yeah, the Knicks were horrible. Of course, the crowd was, kind of doing oohs and ahs and cheerings because for the most part, the best basketball we got to see was by the opponents around that time. But that's not necessarily the case when the team is good. So once again, Gilbert Arenas is mistaken appreciation, man, for cheers. Nobody in New York was overwhelmingly a Gilbert Arenas fan. You don't walk around and see a bunch of Gilbert jerseys. You got to consider these things. But once again, he's talking about his playing days.
You don't have to worry about that crowd. If the game is close, Somehow they're going to start cheering, and it's going to be hard to beat them if you keep that game close enough to keep the crowd involved. So by the time we get to the last 5 minutes, have a 15-point lead, so this crowd is out of it. They're gonna boo, they're gonna be disappointed, the energy's gonna shift, and we just keep moving along.
Around that time, it was like that every single night. The team was losing often, and it was year after year after year, especially during those Isaiah Thomas years.
Crowd is into that game the last 4 or 5 minutes. It's hard to beat that crew. You know what I mean? And that's the game plan going to the Garden. Jump on them so the crowd can turn. That is a fucking bad game plan for your home crowd. That is horrible.
I hope Knicks fans, I hope you're watching this. Take notes.
They not. You think
They might. They might.
You really think they gonna change just because I said it? No.
Yo, no chill Gil, man. You know, always going in, especially the Valley boys. They got to defend their Lakers. We already know the hate is real. We already know that, but it is what it is. Once again, this conversation pretty much stemmed from the fact that they were perplexed of why the Golden State Warriors were getting so many oohs and ahs and cheers and appreciation from the New York crowd while the KD and James Harden was losing. They didn't understand that, and then they kind of correlated it onto Gilbert Arenas' playing days going up against the Knicks. The only good basketball that came through the city was from other teams. So it is what it is. But for the most part, these LA boys, they got some sort of animosity of trying to understand why the Knicks fans are so loyal to the team. Like, they actually see a real fan base. Because Laker fans are not like that. Because those years after Kobe left, those first few years, shit was crickets over there. I mean, Laker fans were quiet. I never seen Laker fans so quiet. LeBron came back, Laker fans got hype. So it is what it is. Something about the Knicks that get on these LA boys' nerves, man. I'm telling you.